Good evening, Aces. Good evening, Quaker. How are we this evening? How you doing, Hector? Hey, Suffolk. This evening, I was up until about 5 minutes ago. There wasn't going to be a live broadcast tonight. My broadband went down. Spent about half an hour on the phone with BT earlier on, and I couldn't figure it out. Did all the usual stuff: restarting, rebooting, leaving it for a few minutes, restarting. Checked all the plugs on the back of the router, and everything seemed to be in order. Spoke to BT, went through all the various protocols, and they said the only option they've got after checking everything is to send somebody out, and the first time they had was Tuesday. So unless I was going to be in a Wi-Fi area somewhere, there wasn't going to be any decent uploads. But I just come back off a job, came back about 10-15 minutes ago, and checked everything again, and then I went right back to the main socket. It all looked okay, but I just thought, you know what, I'll just pull it out and put it back in, and lo and behold, it's all sorted. Went back live, and no, Phil, we just started. It's a late start this evening. Thanks for joining. Hi, Razvan, and Tree. How you doing? Beowulf, good evening to you. Yeah, so had until about a few minutes ago, there wasn't going to be a live. I'd have probably come on for a few minutes using the data on my phone, but a couple of weeks back I did that by mistake. I had put my hi Chris, good evening to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. I had a couple of weeks back I'd put my phone into aeroplane mode, and for some reason I'd forgotten to put it back, so I was disconnected. No, it wasn't airplane mode, but I had disconnected from the Wi-Fi for some reason. So it was using my phone's data, and in the course of that couple of hours online, on the live, I used up my whole month's worth of data, which was a pain. So, although I've been going on ad nauseum about my mobile phone issues with the video and all that, I discovered an app whereby I can pause videos on an iPhone as well. It's a video recorder app, so there may yet be life in the iPhone for me. I've been persevering with the Android, but I'm really, I don't know, it's kind of a bit alien to me, even though I've been using them now for a while. So I don't know. I've still got the option of sending this Android back, so I might still do that, but I'm not going to bore you all with it again. So I went off this evening. I prepared this pipe. This is my what is this? RC Sands. I prepared this with some of the older dark twist that I've got, and I promptly left it on my desk. Forgot to take it with me. Hey Jim, thanks for joining. Hey John. Been watching your backwards and forwards about your channel, John, with interest. Excellent, Chris. Are you based here in the UK? Or in America? Columbia. What's SC? Is that South Carolina? Lande Deutsche. Thank you for joining. All right. Okay. Well, the Oliva V, Series V, is my number 2, the Bellicoso. Which Vitola did you get there, Chris? Excuse me, I'm just lighting my pipe. I love it when the tobacco rises up. Hey, Tim. Hey, Harriet. How you doing? Pipes and pictures. Gentleman caller. Ooh, Who's that made by? What kind of tobacco is that? I've heard of deer tongue being used, but I'm not sure if I've heard of that tobacco. Jim, this RC Sands is the only one I've got of his, and the reason why I started seeking out his pipes was Jeremy Larson. Jeremy Larson is an avid pipe purchaser, and when he gets into a maker, he usually buys half a dozen of their pipes. And so I saw him buying some of them. There's just something really sort of real about these pipes. They're this one's also quite chunky. There's nothing sort of fancy about it. It's not, I wouldn't say it's finished to the nth degree, you know, in terms of perfection, but it smokes great. It's chunky. It's going to last 2 lifetimes at least, and it smokes very, very well. It's got a few little knocks and things. I got it sort of as an estate but unsmoked on eBay, and I think I got it for a steal. I've seen his new pipes. Some of them are going for a couple $100, $250, and I think I paid around $50 for it unsmoked on Fleabay. Yeah, Hector, that's a nice way to put it. I've been smoking a lot of this recently. This is the Astley's that I opened up. I don't know if it was last Saturday or the one before. It's got a beautiful, it's from 2005. It's got an amazing, amazing aroma. It's like overripe bananas, the aroma. And I've really been enjoying it. Yeah, Jim, and truth of the matter is as well, I don't know if he does briar seasoning or not, but it really tastes good from the off, I must say. I mean, I've smoked it a fair bit, but I wouldn't like to say how many bowls I've had in it, maybe 20, 30 bowls, and it's really tasting very good. I do have a couple of meerschaums. I have the, if I can lay my hands on it, I have the Pipe Club of London one from 2018. Gorgeous pipe. That's the logo of the Pipe Club of London. Haven't smoked it nearly enough, but I do find that, I mean, it's got a little bit of colouring but not much. I do find that for me, I still think briar is my favourite material when it comes to pipes. I haven't tried a clay, but I might be trying one of those very soon. Somebody has offered to send me one, which is very kind of him. So I'll be trying one of those soon. I haven't tried mortar. I don't like corn cobs generally, but to be fair, I haven't really given them a fighting chance. I just really haven't liked them from the off, so I haven't really tried breaking one in, so to speak. It is 9mm, yeah. Yeah, I'm only smoking 9mm these days. No, I haven't opened the Borkum Riff. Do you want some of it, Harriet? I must be honest. I don't get Navy Flakes. They're supposed to. Some of them have some rum and stuff like that. I rarely get the rum on the Navy Flakes that I've tried. And just I find sometimes that it even possibly confuses the flavour. I prefer a vapor as a vapor, but possibly I haven't tried them enough. That's possible. Yeah, absolutely. Corn cobs, if you can get on with them, then yeah, absolutely. It's the biggest bargain in the piping world. Yeah, Harriet, you mentioned it. I thought maybe you'd like to try some just for memory's sake, you know, sentimentality. Okay, maybe I'll give that a try then, Tim. Is it heavy in a good way? I think I've got an open tub of conduit. It comes in a little plastic tub in the pouch, but it's not something that I've smoked to a great extent, so I don't really know much about it. I can't really comment on it. It is an OTC. You're talking about the Navy Flake in Sam Gowith, Hector? Hi Sam. So you're not a fan of that Navy Flake, but generally you are a fan of Samuel Gowith. Is that what you're saying? This is smoking very, very well. This is the Dark Twist. Dark Twist, 2012. It's remarkable what a bit of age does to a tobacco. Sometimes to a greater degree than others, but I have ordered a couple of tins, as John has done, of the Astley's number 2. I managed to get a couple of tins on Boswell's website. Sadly now we can't get them from the Danish pipe shop, which is where I would have bought it from. But I will be starting to check out some other European sites. The Danish pipe shop has really been my number one non-UK site, has been for quite a while now. I do think it's got a great selection of tobacco, a great selection of pipes, phenomenal selection of pipes. Their photography is good. The information is good. It really sticks in my craw when I go onto a website, and you could be looking at a pipe of $1,000 or £1,000, and they'll have one picture of the pipe. You won't be able to see the rim, you won't be able to see the other side, you can't see the grain, you just don't know what you're buying. I don't know how they expect people to spend that kind of money on the basis of one picture. Danish Pipe Shop always has 3 or 4, sometimes 5 or 6 pictures of a pipe. You can get a good idea of the pipe. I think I've even seen on tobaccopipes.com also one picture. I don't get it. I have looked on the European tobaccopipes.eu, and they are definitely, if anybody's in the market for a pipe in Europe, they're definitely undercutting their prices in order to popularize that site. And there are some good prices there for some pipes if you're interested. There's no tobacco on the site. And based on the Danish Pipe Shop's position, I think that if it would be prudent to, if you're in Europe, is to stock up on your favorite tobaccos. Not mad panic buy or anything like that, but just, you know, add to your cellar from time to time with tobaccos from the European sites that are still sending, especially from Germany. They're still sending to the UK, because that's just, it seems, the trajectory of restrictions seems to be going in that direction, that we will soon not be able to buy from Europe at all. God knows what will happen if we Brexit. There it is, the B word. And to be honest, it's very possibly just a matter of time before they stop online sales full stop in the UK and in Europe. Personally, I think if they do that, that will be the death knell in the coffin of pipe tobaccos for a lot of companies. Yeah, I did see quite a few pictures of people posting in front of their stash of the Cornell and Deal small batch. I did try and get some, but I didn't succeed. But not the end of the world. I'm not at the stage anymore that I have to have certain tobaccos. Thank you, Spindrift. Thanks for joining. Are you serious? This one that was just released, Sam? I mean, they were originally selling for about $9–10. Well, we'll see. It may just be, unless you've seen it on Cornell and Deal's website, it could just be somebody playing around. Oh, you saw it on their site, fair enough. Well, I heard that from Mike, Gamecock Piper, that 8,000 tins sold in a single day. Well, Phil, it seems I've done a bit of hunting around, and there's not much Navy rolls left, downhill Navy rolls around. You can get them in the shops, I would have thought, but not online. Well, that's cool, John. Thank you. As far as I know, they sold it all, but if they're recalling it, that's going to be a nightmare for them. I mean, recalling 8,000 tins, all the postage involved in that, and I mean, that could put a company out of business. Phil, you must be able to get aperitif here. It's not the most popular blend out there. I would have thought it's available. Hector, that would be a dream. Somehow I doubt it'll happen. They'll have the same problem as the other places that, you know, trying to comply with legislation in each country. And there's no Petersons on my rack at the moment. If you're thinking of this one, this is a Northern Briars, Quebec he calls it, and this one is, if that's the one you're talking about, as a Stanwell. No, they're not making it, but it's still fairly available here in the UK. You should be able to buy it without any problem on the usual websites. Let me have a quick look for you. Well, let's see. Durbar is in stock on GQ Tobaccos. Aperitif is in stock, GQ Tobaccos. In fact, they've got almost everything. Let's see if they've got any. They haven't got Navy Rolls. They've got Dark Flake. They've got Standard Mixture. They've got Ye Old Sign. They've got 221B Baker Street, 3-year Mature Virginia, Standard Mixture, Royal Yacht, Ready Rubbed, 965, Baby's Bottom, London Mixture, Daniel Flake. They've got it all. Elizabethan, Early Morning Pipe. They've got everything in stock. I can't see Navy Rolls, but other than that, they seem to have everything. Oh right, that is good to hear, Tim. Yeah, definitely, if that's only for 2016. Yeah, absolutely, Suffolk. Mishams do need to come with cases because they're so fragile. GQ Tobaccos is up north somewhere, methinks. Nottingham, possibly? Well, it's around Newcastle, actually, it looks like. It's Stoke-on-Trent. It looks like the phone code is around there. But I don't know if they've got a shop as such. I think it's just a website. Cool, Pipes and Pictures. Well, as I say, I don't think there's a shop. I think Glenn Quelch, when he owned it for a lot of the time, I think he operated it out of his home. Freeburg on Tray I did try, but it was before I was using 9mm, so I didn't really succeed very well. When I was in Zurich in Switzerland a couple of years back, I bought some, but I think I gave it away. Yeah, Phil, absolutely, definitely, you should stock up. GQ is great. Sam Bramer owns it. He bought it off GQ, off Glyn Quelch. GQ being Glyn Quelch. Hey Chad, thanks for joining. What's the story in America with the fires? Are they coming under control or are they still raging? Oh, that's good to hear. Chad, has Mike got your prize yet? I don't think I've seen it yet. How do these fires actually start? Smoking Pipes Europe is online, yeah. I haven't seen them with any tobacco, but they've got pipes, a fair amount of pipes, and good prices. I think if you're in the market for a pipe, as I said before, I think their introductory prices are very low compared to the American one. Really? All from a utility pole? Wow. Hi Mitch. Hi to Worcester. I'm curious to see what you were hiding out there, Chad. Has anyone heard of this tobacco? I picked this up on eBay from Germany. I'm not sure what the age is. It looks pretty old. It's a vapor. Well, it says there what it is. I haven't cracked it yet. I was about to crack it last week, but I didn't. Dark Virginia, Bright Virginia, Kentucky Burley, Black Cavendish, and Perique. I don't know. I wonder if they'll even start with tobacco. Hey Josh. Well, I'm glad they arrived okay, Josh. Enjoy. Novelty items, not for consumption, absolutely. Definitely not for consumption. Right, greyed out tins and pouches, is that what's coming? I suppose it's to be expected after the cigarettes have been greyed out. Alright, enjoy your quiet time with Mrs. Grump. Josh, enjoy your cigars. Really? Ah, this is getting ridiculous. I really didn't know that it was starting already. just don't know what we can do about it. I know America's really fighting hard to try and resolve its issues with pipe tobacco being clubbed in with other tobaccos. How is it, Tree? When I got those tins from the Israeli sale, I think I got 2 or 3 tins. I think I sent one actually to Norway, or somebody in around the Scandinavian countries, whose father apparently smoked it back in the day. And he was really excited about being able to get a tin. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tree, that was one of the tins which was really being sent to you as a tin rather than the contents, but I left it in there for you, as I know you'll smoke anything. Hi Ohio, how you doing? Yeah, Phil, absolutely. I understand where you're coming from, but to be honest, I think it's the thin end of the wedge. Because if that position gets accepted, it's only a matter of time before the next position happens, and it'll just progress and get worse and worse. So I think the earlier on it's fought, and the earlier fights that you win, the less chance of it progressing even further. But if we accept the grey pouches, it'll eventually be no pouches. Let's hope so, Phil. It's kind of, when you see somebody mentioned earlier on about people sort of showing their stash and sort of like them posing with a deer they've just shot, you know, all the tobacco they managed to snag. To some extent, I don't blame them. You know, the way it's all going, you know, it just, to some extent, it makes sense to, I'm not saying brag about it, but it makes sense to stock up. It makes sense to just keep your cellar well stocked. JJ Fox's is not greyed out now. Well, it's too big of a business, certainly, when it comes to cigarette tobacco. Somehow, well, in the States as well, cigars is also a pretty big business. Samuel Gareth's idea of putting tins in boxes and putting the warnings on the boxes so that when you take the tin out, the tin is clear of warning labels, I think that's a loophole which they've, you know, exploited very well, but I think it's only a matter of time when that door will be closed. Well, having said that, you know, I've mentioned this before. The bottom line, we all know in our hearts of hearts that tobacco is not healthy. So you can understand where it's coming from. It's all part of the whole PC brigade. Why they're attaching themselves to tobacco more than alcohol or any of the other vices in the world, I don't know. I suppose some people might say that it's antisocial, maybe. But you can't smoke in public much anyway, so I don't know. And they find it hard to make pipe smoking and cigarette smoking discreet. They seem to see them as one thing, when really they are discreet. They are two separate things. Anybody who knows anything about pipe smoking or cigar smoking knows that they are completely discreet from cigarette smoking. And vaping, I don't know where that stands. To be honest, I never understood why vaping was any healthier. I couldn't understand the whole concept of vaping because in my mind, obviously it's not true because people are doing it, but in my mind, vaping was essentially inhaling liquid into your lungs. And I couldn't understand why it wasn't, people weren't drowning in the, because surely even if people inhale the stuff and blow it out, exhale it, there's going to be some liquid there, and eventually it's going to build up and give people problems in their lungs. But obviously that's not happening. I mean, a couple of my kids have dabbled with vapes for quite some time, so I don't really get it. I don't understand how vaping works, to be honest, and I don't understand why it's not harmful to people's lungs as well, from a different angle, not from all the carbon and stuff like that you get from other smoke, but vaping is you're inhaling steam. I don't get it. I'm obviously missing something. Oh yeah, there's nicotine in it. If you have one with nicotine in it, you can vape without nicotine. Absolutely, Harriet. I must be honest, whenever I'm anywhere near my family, I don't smoke. Well, I haven't smoked Latakia anyway for a while, but even when I did, I didn't, because smoking Latakia is just going to invite trouble. And I just don't seem to be, even though I've smoked Penzance the other day and I've smoked a bit of Northwoods and a bit of Banaget, smoking it sort of every so often, but I'm really still not getting a major appetite for it. No, it doesn't have, I get all that, Hector. It doesn't have all the nicotine and all the dodgy chemicals that cigarettes have. I just don't quite understand how you can inhale steam to that extent. And, you know, people who are vaping, they're inhaling, you know, a winter's worth of steam in one in one draw. The amount of smoke or steam that they exhale afterwards, it's just, you can fill a room with each draw. You know, sometimes you can drive behind a car and you think the car's on fire, the amount of steam it produces. And I don't understand why it doesn't adversely affect people's lungs. But I don't know much about it. Or vape, okay, not steam, vapor, but it's so it's not water? What is vapor? If not steam? Is that not the same thing? I'm ignorant about it. I really don't know much about it, but I assumed it was steam, same effect of steam. Yeah, I get that, the glycerol, it certainly is very sticky stuff, but the actual smoke, steam, vape, whatever you want to call it, that you exhale, what is that? Presumably that's water. I mean, there's something there that you're exhaling. there's quite a few videos on YouTube, the type of shapes and rings and whole, you know, sequences of shapes that they can do, and they're quite phenomenal actually. It's really quite skilled. Hey Joe Fish. Well, my dad has a inhaler as well, so I guess he's also vaping to some extent. Well, Tree, I don't know. I will stand corrected because I really don't know much about vaping. I was in touch with Danny Shaw the other day. He's still going through a lot of stuff, a lot of treatment and stuff like that. I'm thinking of doing another sale to get him some more money. The last time I did a sale, we raised about £700, which was really cool. We raised that in about an hour and a half. So I'm thinking of doing the same thing again. I know Harriet did an amazing raffle. But yeah, so I was thinking of going through my stuff and just doing another one, just getting some more money, maybe sell some of my pipes, some of my tobaccos. If there's interest in it, then I'll do it. I'll line it up for one of the Saturday nights. Today I'm smoking out of my mouth, Nelly. Hey Art, how you doing? I'm smoking out of an RC Sands, and it's smoking very, very well. Hector, you'll never learn, will you? How many times have I told you you're smoking out of the wrong orifice? Yeah, I think it would be really cool if YouTube would allow some kind of picture or something that people could send, but I think it would confuse the whole medium rather, because to do a sort of face-to-face thing, you're talking about either Hangouts or Skype, but Hangouts is limiting in terms of there's a limit to how many people you can have on the screen and it be meaningful. If you have 10 people on, you can't keep track. Everybody's talking over everybody else. James Pottsville Piper, he created, I don't even know if that website or that newsgroup thing is still going, but he did do there was a Hangout thing going for a while. I know Chad used to do it as well. Yes, Chad. I use all my orifices, is it orify? Orifices. Occasionally I'll talk out of my mouth, the rest of the time I'll leave to your imagination. Yeah, absolutely, John and Berg. But in truth, I think YouTube is probably the easiest medium to have multiple people and to have some form of being able to keep track of what everybody's saying. If it would be visual, if it would be video, imagine at the moment we've got 29 people on. Imagine 29 little screens and you're trying to keep track of everybody. It would just be 29 people talking and nobody really being able to have a conversation. Pipe Nutter, or Drop Bear Woodworks as he's now known, he has, with his Aussie mates, he has a little Skype thing going on every so often, which is nice. But to be able to post pictures would be nice. That wouldn't be distracting or confusing, I don't think. Oh right, okay. If it has a limit of 8 people, that makes sense. Which would be a shame on the YTPC, where you've got, you know, potentially many more people who'd be interested in having a chit chat. Okay, so in terms of a sale for Danny, I'm going to line it up for next Saturday. I'm just going to check my diary, see that I've got nothing on. Now at the moment I'm clear for Saturday, so if you can, it'd be really cool if you could try and keep this space clear. And I'll try to put together, and what I'm going to do this time is, because last time all the stuff that I sold was mine, it wasn't donations. So although I had, I think a couple of people sent in some tobacco and stuff like that, but generally speaking the stuff was my own, taken out of my cellar, and some of the pipes were my own pipes. So obviously that was a lot of my own possessions. So this time, probably what I'm going to do, I did give it some thought, and as much as it's really nice to donate hundreds and hundreds of pounds, there's a limit. So probably what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put, just to give you an example, I'm going to put a minimum price on the items, and whatever it goes above that price will go to Danny. So for argument's sake, if I've got a pipe which is worth $100, I'll put a minimum baseline price of say $50. So that $50 I will keep, and if it sells for 50, if it sells for 100, sells for 200, wherever it goes above the 50 will go to Danny, and I'll keep a record of that, and I'll publicize that record. Just because I can't just give away all my pipes. So last time there was a fair amount, as I say, it was £700 worth of stuff. And people were very, very generous, art especially. So I hope that that's a happy medium where I don't end up just giving away all my stuff, but at the same time some money is made. Hopefully a decent amount of money will be made. So I'll be publicising it during the course of this week so people get to know about it. Is a week enough, do you think? Or will people get bored of it? So probably what I'll do is I'll go through all my stuff, and I'll put together a list of items that I'm going to be selling. And so I'll do a video showing what I'll be selling with the base prices, so that everybody will know in advance what's happening. I want it obviously to be extremely transparent. Harriet, that would be really cool, but wait until I've done that first video. So depending on how my time goes this week, it'll either be this coming Saturday or the one after, depending on how much I've been able to prepare and put the video together. I'll try to do that in the next day or two. Thank you, Harriet, appreciate that. what I do find is, I mean, I've been in touch with Danny periodically since his first issues, and what I do find that sometimes the YTPC we know is phenomenal. I mean, that's just, you've just got to be on the YTPC for a short while, and and you see and you experience the phenomenal generosity and camaraderie and empathy that people have, and do the best to help other people out. But I do find that sometimes you do an initiative and then kind of that's it, move on to the next thing, and sometimes people continue to suffer. People continue to, even if you don't give money, this is not about money. Sometimes people get a bit exhausted and overexposed to this whole charity thing, but sometimes just a good comment, just people let them know that you're still thinking about them, that you've gone, even though you've gone past that particular fundraiser or that particular sort of effort on behalf of a person. But it's certainly, sorry, I don't want to come across as preachy, forgive me if it does, but I think it is important to just keep in touch with people, not necessarily on one of their videos, but just a personal message. It means so much to people that they know that people out there are still thinking about them, and even when you've finished doing a particular project, you're still thinking about them. That's awesome. People get a lot of encouragement from that. And somebody who's going through a life-threatening disease or a life-threatening challenge, sometimes it can be a very, very lonely place. Even when they're surrounded by friends and family, it's still, they are suffering it in themselves. They're in their own microcosm, they're in their own world, in their own mind. Things are going around in their mind which we cannot fathom. Even somebody who's gone through a life-threatening disease, they've gone through it in their way. Somebody else goes through it in their way, and sometimes we just, if they know that people are thinking about them, by us actually positively making sure that they know that we're thinking about them, I think it gives people, there's no question about it, that mind over matter, it's been proven many times, mind over matter is powerful. And I'm not saying that mind will always prevail, but certainly it helps. A person who is positive, there's no question, has a greater chance of healing if they have positivity. And somebody who's going through that kind of situation alone, and if they're kind of, especially if somebody's introverted and doesn't have a lot of friends, physical friends, I think it would be mind-numbingly depressing for that person to go through a life-threatening situation. But if they get constant support, constant positive comments, Art, come on, what's all this about, Art? Seriously? Hang fire, my friend. Okay, I'm not saying anything unless you tell me to. Okay, well, you've said it now, Art, so unbelievable. Guys, that's Art in a nutshell. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Art is an amazing guy. I'm not going to embarrass you now, but last time when we did the sale for Danny, I can't even remember the exact details of it, but essentially Art won a bid on a group of items, and somebody else was after some of them, and he said, you keep my bid and then sell the rest to somebody else. So essentially, amazing, Art. Thank you very, very much. That would be a fantastic way to start. I wasn't actually asking for donations. I don't like asking for donations, even though it's for somebody else. But if you want to, go ahead. But I'm not going to ask for it. I'd like people to get something for their money and feel that they're getting something out of it and helping at the same time. Anyway, so guys, in a nutshell, if you can drop Danny a message, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And I hope he won't mind. I'll give you his email address. If you hang on a second. Well, you know what, I should really ask him first. I'll ask him first, and then I'll post his address. I'm sure he won't mind, but I'll ask. It's only the right thing to do, I guess. And I don't get the impression that Danny has a huge circle. I may be wrong, I may be doing him a disservice, but certainly Sue Dunhill has been amazing, absolutely amazing to him. And he has a sister as well. But more than that, I've not really seen. Not that it's my business, but certainly in what we've been allowed to see. So I think that reaching out to him would be a very kind thing to do. I mean, she certainly spent a lot of time when she did the pipe sales for him. This dark twist is really spicing up now. Sorry, my connection went a bit haywire. I hope I'm still on. Thank you. My email address is so should I crack this tin, you reckon? Wee. By the way, if you guys like vapors, I highly recommend you get some of this blending stuff if you can get it from GQ. Or anywhere, I assume it's the same stuff that you can buy. This stuff is awesome. It's so flavorful, so punchy, so strong. You add it as a condiment to any tobacco, and it will give you a little bit of a kick, a bit of a spice, a bit of sweetness, a bit of richness. It's really great stuff. Really dark. When you open the bag, it smells like milk gone off. It's really fermented. No, GQ doesn't, unfortunately. I haven't really shopped around for different blending tobaccos. That's the only one I've really bought, and it's fantastic. I assume it's Sammy G's. Hang on. Garth and Hogarth. Yeah. Same DNA. Somebody asked before earlier on about Penzance, whether it's going to be happening, whether it'll be produced again. I haven't seen a lot of it around recently, so there'll probably be a drop soon enough. No reason to believe that Germains are having any issues with their production. I just wish they'd send some of it to the UK. That's one I'd like to go to as well, that factory. I'd love to go there. I'd like to go to Samuel Goeth as well. But I don't know if they do tours or anything like that. And it's a bit of a schlep to go up to the Lake District. They're in the Jersey Isles, yeah. Sorry, Chad, I'm not sure how that reads. People are stronger than life is crappy. Sometimes they just have to be reminded of that. Frogmortons were McClellans, so yeah, they were US. I mean, you could get them in Europe, you can get them in Switzerland. Up until recently, there was a site in Switzerland which still had them in stock. But I think they're all gone now. If you saw my video of when I went to Zurich, there was one particular shop which had almost a full wall of McClellan tobaccos. They had probably almost every single one of their blends. They had massive stock, and that was way before I'd started with 9mm pipes, so I wasn't really into the Virginias. I don't think I bought a single tin. It was more expensive in Europe. In Switzerland, the tobacco generally was a little bit more expensive, so I didn't buy it. I'm kicking myself now. They had the Christmas Cheers, they had Virginia Woods, they had all of the Frogmortons, and they had stacks and stacks of the stuff. It's a good question, Art. I think that decision would have been governed by how much money I had in my pocket. And to be honest, it was a good job. I actually went the day that I spent, I'm trying to remember if it was the day after or the day before the wedding that I was doing there. So I did some touring in Zurich the day before the wedding, and on the day of the wedding itself, in the morning. So my pockets would have been empty. After the wedding, my pockets were a little heavier. So probably a good idea that I didn't do too much shopping afterwards. Because I had to bring some of that green stuff back home, you know, feed the kids. Yeah, Tim, but that's the way it is, isn't it? It's the journey. I have bought from, I used to buy quite regularly from Four Noggins, but I don't anymore. I find the shipping is just ridiculous. If I order one tin of tobacco, they're still charging $50 odd to ship it to the UK. Whereas if I buy from Boswell's, they charge about 20. The last order, I think they charged me $26. Good prices. They don't have the same selection, but kind of everything. I think you're probably right, Art. It doesn't surprise me that people do. They do a flat price for the shipping, and sometimes it's daylight robbery. That sounds reasonable enough, Beowulf. Nelly, you're obviously not on this channel often enough. I've showed my visage more than once on this channel. Ah, a good fizz. Come on. Whoops. Flattery will get you everywhere, Chad. Oh yes, I like the look of that. Nice and dark. Charles Fairmont, Hamburg, London, New York. Oh, that smells good. It's a ribbon by the looks of it. Classic pipes, leather accessories. It's a ribbon cut, but it's quite a hefty ribbon. There's lots of little crystallizations. Candlelight blender, unique. So this one is Blantyre, an outstanding blend of Kentucky Burley Perique with a touch of Virginia, mild and mellow. Ooh. So this is more of an American style, I would say. It's more burley than Virginia. Not sure I'm going to like this. Hi, Meeks. This one smells fantastic as well. It smells like a good vapor. There's lots of little crystallizations. It smells a bit of fruit. It's a bit apricot-y. It actually smells very similar. It smells very similar to the old tin of Daniel Navy rolls that I have. This one's from 2012. And it has a very similar aroma. It was getting a bit dry, so I put a Boveda in there. It doesn't smell so good anymore. Oh, it's softening up a bit. Not much left. Really quite thick strands there. You can see the sugary white areas there, but the strands are actually quite big, quite wide, the cut. It's quite wide strands. It really does smell good. Yeah, I mean, that's why I do like tobacco. Sorry, I do like tobacco. I do like Kentucky. I like it rather as as a second player to a main. I much prefer, you know, a rich, well-aged Virginia with the addition of Kentucky and a bit of Perique. We'll see what this one is like. I'm going to go for a second bowl in this pipe because it just smoked awesomely well. They really are quite big pieces. Okay, let's light her up. It smells really nice and fruity, quite apricotty. Hey Sue, how you doing? You were mentioned in dispatches earlier. Sue, have you tried this stuff before? I don't know how old this tin is. My guess is it's probably about 20 or 30 years old. Yes, it was all good, Sue. We were talking about how awesome you've been in terms of supporting Danny. And we've been talking about doing another sale video for Danny next Saturday night. So it'll be an auction style, like we did last time. Hey Goju, how you doing? Happy, happy, joy, joy, indeed. This is a pipe club. I'll get in touch soon. I'm not sure if I've got your email address or not. So this tobacco, there's a lot of interesting flavors. Definitely getting the burley on the finish. It's got that kind of burley flavor, but it's actually a better burley flavor than I generally don't like burleys. So anything sort of fresh, recent, I really don't like. But when it's aged and it's together with other tobaccos as a condiment, although I think in this particular blend there's probably a front runner. It's interesting. It's almost like a licoricey flavor on the finish, which seems to be the burleys together with the, I would say, together with the Perique, which is giving that kind of licoricey flavor. On the draw you get sweetness. I'm trying an old tin of Charles Fairmont Blantyre. Very licoricey. Interesting. Or maybe not licorice, but more aniseed, anise. It's really quite complex. I mean, it's supposed to be mild. Which tobacco are you talking about, Beowulf? Well, it looks like it's a current line. I can see on tobacco reviews, there's a review as late as 2015 from Pipestad. And it looks like it's made in Germany. Somebody sent me some, I'm trying to find it, interesting looking thing, something which I'm not familiar with, here. I think it was an eBay pipe I'd bought, and they sent this with it. It comes with some matches, and it also comes with this little pouch. It says Oliver Twist chewing tobacco bits. But I've never tried chewing tobacco. Look at that, it even tells you how to chew tobacco. Take a piece of tobacco and put it in your mouth and smoke, chew it. Alright, tells you to do it for 10 minutes and then bin it. Okay. What's that, Landdeutsch? How much of what? I don't really know what it is. I mean, I'm not going to start chewing, to be honest. Piping and cigars is enough for me. A bit of snuff here and there. I generally use snuff on the weekends, on the Sabbath. I can't smoke on the Saturdays. And that serves me well. This is a really old tin of this Blantyre mild blend. I can't light a fire correct. Cheers, Suffolk. Have a good one. Thanks for joining. Sue, you mellow with age? Nah. You're a spring chicken. A purple one as well. The chewing tobacco, I assume you get the nicotine through the juices, I suppose, is it? And you swallow it? If you like snuff, Tim, I did sort of dabble with it, and I was going to do a series on snuff, but I didn't in the end. But this stuff is really, really good. This probably is the one that I smoke every week on a Saturday. smoke imbibe. Oh, you're supposed to spit the juice out. Okay. It's really good stuff. I mean, I like it. For me, this particular snuff is quite, I wouldn't say wet, but it does clump a little bit. So it just come out in quite decent sized clumps. But it's got quite a good sort of menthol flavour initially, but as you sort of, when I take snuff, I don't snort it. I just slowly, gently breathe it in through my nose, and I find that after a little bit of time, I get this chocolatey aroma around my nose, and it's fantastic. I've not really discovered that with any other snuff. It's almost cigar-like to some extent, and it's really very, very nice. But a lot of them don't clump at all. I've got some Sharrow's raspberry, which I've got as well. But it's nice as a little sort of distraction to have a little bit of a flavoured, fruity kind of thing. And that's like sand. It's dry and dusty, and you've got to be careful. You breathe it in too quickly and you'll get a whole nose full because it's really light. Yeah. Very good, Sue. No, I think that if a lot of times when you're sort of with other people and you're sharing out snuff, people like to, I don't know if it's a male thing, they like to just sort of show that they can snort it up, but I think you lose the whole subtlety and goodness of a snuff if you just snort it. Because all that's happening is you're snorting it right back to the back of your throat. It grates you on your throat and gets into your lungs, and that's not, at least not for me. That's not how I experience it. I really take it in very slowly, very gently, and I try not to breathe in deep. I really don't want it going into my lungs, and it stays really in my nose. A little bit will obviously go in, but I try to keep it quite gentle. So where's Hugh this evening, Harriet? Or is he lurking? Hi, Dave. Welcome. Thank you. Right, which B&M are you at? Which lounge are you at, Harriet? That snuff's giving me a little bit of a sniffle. Well, Harriet, if you would have been on, then I would have perhaps turned the camera around, because I only do it in his honour. But seeing as he's not. Somebody else mentioned Mad Fiddler recently. Who was that? Somebody else was smoking Mad Fiddler recently. Oh, I say. I say. Phew. Put me on the spot now, you have. You two are a right pair, conniving little pair, you two. There's so many different blends out there, it's impossible to get by all of them. It sounds interesting, that stuff, Sue. Yeah, it is pretty good. Definitely, it has a little bit more of a savoury edge to it, which is from the Kentucky's and from the Burley for me. But I think the age has definitely sweetened it and made it palatable. Oh yeah, definitely good to smoke out of tin. Me, Hugh? No. Moi? I didn't call. Sorry to disturb you, Hugh. I'm sure you were having a very, very deep discussion with your friends out there. Probably talking about your Commander-in-Chief. We're not going to mention the T word. How often do I clean my pipes with a liquid pipe freshener? Not very often at all. I did it a couple of weeks back. And the last time before that was probably a few months before that. The extent of my cleaning mostly is a pipe cleaner. That's about it really. And every so often I'll do a liquid clean. But not very often. But what I was finding, you may recall this, a few weeks back I was finding that my pipes were, my tobaccos were tasting bitter, and I thought it was me, and my filters were coming out black when I took them out of the pipe. So people made lots of different suggestions, and somebody just said clean the pipes, and I did that, and that was it. The pipes were just dirty because the filters, the filters are wobbly. You know, although they're 9mm, and the 9mm peg inside a pipe is officially for 9mm, but in order to be able to work with it, it has to have wiggle room. So the smoke actually gets past the filter as well, unless you put some kind of piece of paper or something around it to wedge the filter into the pipe. I used Castlewood pipe freshener. It has a little bit of a flavour to it, a little bit of a fruity flavour. I think I bought this from Boswell's, about $3 or $4, and working my way through it. Yeah, it is alcohol based as far as I know, although it doesn't say it on here, but I would imagine it is. It says remove stem from cold pipe, run moistened pipe cleaner through the stem, and also swab inside shank with moistened cleaner. Let pipe stand for 24 hours, repeat as necessary, avoid contact with finished pipe surfaces. So that would indicate that there is some alcohol in there, because that will strip the finishing on your pipe. Cuban cigars in the UK are very, very expensive. They're prohibitively expensive for my purse, and 95% of my cigars are not from the UK. Yeah, you can use whatever sort of floats your boat. I'm not saying that you should use this. It's just what I use. People use whiskey, vodka, cognac, whatever you want to use. It's your bag. I just find that this. Oh, hi Max. Sorry, I didn't even realize your name was there. Sorry, Phil. It's really not flavored. I say that it has a bit of a fruity flavor, but I think it's just put in there to so that it's not pure alcohol. I don't know. I'm fine. I enjoy it. It's fine. The stuff evaporates as soon as you put it in anyway. And I don't find that it in any way ghosts or does any kind of contribution to the flavor in the pipe. Yeah, I'm sure they would, Pipes and Pictures. They would probably laugh at a lot of the stuff we do. I think that the celebration of the hobby that we have on the YTPC is something which is probably quite anathema to the old codgers in the piping world. They would probably think it's quite weird that we make such a community out of it and share our experiences. It was just a regular thing in the old days. It's a completely different thing nowadays. It kind of takes you back to that whole discussion with the Artful Codger with Ben about having, becoming intimately familiar with one tobacco or one pipe, and that's certainly true of pipe smokers of old and plenty smokers nowadays. But I think it's very different. It's a different animal these days. for a lot of people, it's a social vehicle. It's a vehicle for social interaction. It was more acceptable, and it was also it was just a standard thing. It wasn't anything exceptional. See a beer guy. It was just a normal thing. It was just part of life. People smoked a pipe as much as people wore trousers. You know, it wasn't something exceptional. You know, nowadays if you walk down the road and somebody sees you smoking a pipe, they're going to look at you and stare at you and think you've come from another planet. So for us, it's something which is unifying. It's something which is unique about us compared to the rest of the world. So we celebrate it, and that's why when people put videos up about their pipes and their tobaccos and all of that, it's because it's something which has meaning to them. Whereas historically, it had meaning, but purely as a vehicle for introducing nicotine. I wouldn't say purely, but certainly that was one of the main reasons for it. Well, it depends on the kind of looks that you're getting, Hector. It's a bit of a mixed bag, you know. Sometimes it's a look of disgust, and sometimes it's a look of, I remember those. And sometimes you go into an area where kids have never seen it before, and they're kind of looking at you incredulously and saying, what's that piece of wood in his mouth? I remember once going somewhere smoking a cigar, and some kids were around who had never seen a cigar, obviously, and I could hear them chattering amongst themselves and saying, that man's got a twig in his mouth. Yeah, I can imagine that, Sue, but you're a bit of an honorary bloke, aren't you? I think you smoke more pipes than all of us put together. Flathead nails, yeah, perfect. That's the classic nail tamper, pipe nail, which is still probably the tamper that I use the most. It's what I have in the car. Indeed, golf tees, yep. So tell us more about this White Spot Society, Sue. Well, golf tees are an established use as a tamper. Lots of B&Ms use them, and they put their logos on them and give them out. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a quick little giveaway. I'm going to give away this tin. A nice aged tin of Charles Fairmont. It's very nice, but I prefer the Asleys, to be honest. If you like, and this has got a really, really good, rich flavour, and it's if you like Burleys, this is like a really good quality Burley because of its age. So, as per the usual, anybody who wants in, say I'm in, and we'll make a quick list. Pum pum pum, let's get a piece of paper. Right, number 1 is Meeks, number 2 is Salmon Line, number 3 is David Penrod, number 4 is Beowulf, number 5 is the Huge Herfer. Is that Harriet? Yeah, Harriet's a bit further down the line. Okay, Pipes and Pictures is number 6. Numero 7 is James Stuff. Okay, number 7. Number 8, Scott Free. Number 9 is Harriet. Number 10 is Joe Fish. Number 11 is Pipes, etc. What's the etc.? Number 12 is Hector Quaker. Number 13, lucky for some, Andrew Sirigliano. 14 is Nelly. I think it's the first one you're entering, Nelly. No. Nelly, your name, does that make you of the male or female persuasion? Well, which? Chuchenbriar, number 15. I'm not sure, I might be getting a bit of a nicotine hit off this tobacco, and it's supposed to be mild. Well, that could be I've not eaten anything for quite a while. What are we now, 2 AM? I think the last thing I ate was 2 or 3 hours ago. And that was only a snack. Okay. You reckon it's the Snuff? Could be. Doesn't usually get me. Alright, so far I've got Meeks, Sam Online, David Penrod, Beowulf, Hugh, Pipes and Pictures, James Stuff, Scott Free, Harriet, Joe Fish, Pipes etc., Quaker, Andrew Sirigliano, and Nelly Catalano, who still hasn't said whether she's a he, she, or a she, or a he, she. And 15 is Chuchenbriar. Sue Donnell is number 16. I did have a cigar as well on the way back from work. I had a Monte Cristo Petit number 2. Well, Nelly in here in the UK would be a woman's name. So I was just curious because your picture, I can't actually see your picture. So I was just asking if you were male or female. Not that it matters. Nowadays, I suppose you can't even ask those questions anymore. Slovenia is tobacco, okay. That's an interesting typo. Yes. And I still maintain that I'm not hooked on nicotine. But one thing I have been noticing recently is that on Saturday, when I don't smoke, by come the end of the day, I've got a headache, which it's been starting to worry me a little bit recently. That perhaps my body, even though I don't feel it, but my body is craving nicotine. Does that make sense, to get a headache when you're lacking nicotine? It's like a withdrawal symptom almost. Yeah, definitely getting a little bit lightheaded. I'm just going to have a little bit of a banana. Banana. No, Sue, you're just the queen. To us, you're the queen of the YTPC. Yeah, it could be coffee related. You're right. But I've been having coffee. I've been drinking coffee all evening. Maybe because it's too much coffee. My body certainly has adjusted to it, excuse me. That was rather rude. But when I don't smoke for 24 hours, is that what's giving me the headache? The lack thereof. Okay, one banana later. Chickpeas, anyone? I do like chickpeas. Yeah, thanks, Meeks. Okay, I'm going to do the draw in a sec. And I'm going to add to it, just to share the love a little bit. Tree's back. Tree, we've just been doing. We're doing a giveaway on this tin. Just let me know if you want to be in. Number 17 is Tree. Right, is that everyone? I think everybody in the world, I mean, it's a bit of a blanket statement, but I think everybody suffers anxiety. It's just some people handle it. The body's responses, the cognitive responses by the body are different. The subconscious handles it differently in every person. And sometimes you need to train the body to react in a positive way, and sometimes the body, your cognitive subconscious deals with it in a robust way already. And people who do suffer, it's obviously very, very tough. It was very tough. Anywho, Matthew, you can indeed. Number 18. Matthew. Streeter. Okie dokie. My two favourite non-Cubans, Oliva Surivi Bellicoso and Underground Sungrown, number 1, number 2. Those are going in the hat as well. It's a long cylindrical body. Can't you see? I'm going to chuck this in as well. I got this from Mike Gamecocks. So that's going to go in as well. What else? What other rubbish can I give away? Just kidding. Alright, I think that'll do for now. Yeah, Scorty Pipe. Funny you should say that. It's sitting right over here. I'm just looking in my box behind me. It's not on my thing and it's still got a tobacco in it from last week. That's very naughty. We'll have to clean that one. How about you go onto another channel, mate? Right, just kidding. Okay, a special edition. If one of the Herfers win the raffle, they get a Monte Cristo as well. And Harriet will understand that very well. Alright, everybody. I'm going to run through the names very quickly once more. If you're not there, please shout. And when you finish shouting, type. Okay, so we have number 1 is Meeks. Number 2 is Simon Line. Number 3 is David Penrod. Number 4 is Beowulf. Number 5 is Hugh. Number 6 is Pipes and Pickies. Number 7 is James Stuff. Number 8 is Scott Free. Coming in at number 9 is Harriet Herfer. Number 10 is Fishy Joe. Number 11, Pipes Etc. We wonder what the etc. is. Still. Number 12 is Hector Quaker. Number 13 is Andrew Serigliano. Number 15 is Chuchenbreyer. Number 16 is Sue Dunhill. Number 17 is Tree. Number 18 is Matthew Streeter. And Land Deutsch. Is that a wave or is that a I'm in? You're in. Glad to have you on board. Number 19 is Landa Deutscher. Don't mention the war. Oops, shouldn't have said that, should I? Right. So, okay. Let's find my number cruncher. So we have 19. Here's hoping it's somebody in Europe. 1. $19. Who remembers that song? 19. All about Vietnam, that was. The average age of a soldier going to Vietnam. Come on, you guys, you must know that song. Yeah, Phil, you know, I really detest all this materialism. Can't you tell? I just want to unshackle myself of all this materialism. Come on, Harriet, I'm waiting. Thank you very much. Here we go. On your marks. Get set. Randomize. It ain't 12, but it is divisible by 3. Number 4 is the Irishman. Beowulf. Well done. Congratulations. You've probably got my email address. Shoot me your details. Sorry, Beowulf, you're disqualified. I hate students. Next, let's redo this. Okay, we ready? On your marks. No, just kidding. What are you studying there, Beowulf? Send me your particulars. Although Ireland, actually, postage can be quite expensive to Ireland because you're not British. Chickpea's gone. I don't think the wife will thank me for that later. Okay, so you've got these 2 cigars, very nice too, a little Tampy, and actually it's quite suitable because Blantyre, isn't that Irish? Or am I wrong? Or is that Scottish? I think it's Scottish actually. So much stuff! It's after listening to, what's his name, comedian, about all this stuff, that I decided to give it all away. What's his name, comedian? Carlin, of course. Although he was very atheistic, I still absolutely respect his talent. Very, very funny guy. Very, very pertinent commentary. Beowulf, I got your email, thank you. We'll get that to you, hopefully, during the course of the week. But don't shoot me if I don't get it out immediately. This is a giveaway after all. Okay. Sue, if you're still on, you've seen my email address. I've put it on a couple of times. If you could just drop me a quick email so that I can... Oh, actually, you're on Instagram, aren't you? So I can message you that way. Cool. Which pipe was that? I don't remember, Beowulf. Funnily enough, I was actually thinking about making a website I'm not quite sure how to do it in a way which would not be illegal, but to sell my pipes and tobacco that I want to pass on. Oh right, it's a nice pipe. Peel it, Peterson. Which one was that? Was that the tankard? Was that the barrel-shaped one? Oh no, it was a... Oh, it was the one? Tankard? There was a peel it one with silver on it. With a silver rim. Was that the one? Good night, mates. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day as well. It's 2:15 in the AM. It's funny how people say it's 2 AM in the morning. Alright, yeah, I think that one was the tankard. Yeah, smoke it the first time when you open this package. Definitely. Where are you again, Quaker? Is it Norway? Cheers, Chuchin. Oh. Alright, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Yeah, and I'll see you when I do. I should really do... put more stuff on eBay, but tobacco I can't put on eBay. But I don't know, most of the time I'm just too lazy. That's the honest truth. Alright, that's enough for one night. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Chad. So, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Ohio. Thank you, Quaker. Thank you, Tree. Thank you, Max. Said that, Phil. Thank you, Tim, Goju, Chad, Harriet, Andrew, Quaker, Chutin, Beowulf 95. Congratulations once more. Scott Free, Nelly, who's a woman, you know. Meeks. And everybody else. Have a wonderful night, morning, afternoon. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks very much, everybody. All the best. Happy, happy, joy, joy. See you soon. We'll be in touch.